It is time to set another TBR. Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So once again, we are here to set my TBR for November. Where has the month gone? Like, October seems like it's flown by. I am filming this about a week early because I have finished, or I am on finishing all my books on the TBR. So it was like, okay, well, I can do this early and plan my next month's TBR. So let's see, what books did I have on my TBR for October? Or what prompts did I get? So I first played a round of the Around the World game, and I landed on a cloud, which was an item you would pack. So for that one, I chose Hope Between the Pages by Pepper Basham because I would pack a dress. So this is, and I have read this one. Then the next prompt, so the first prompt on my wheel spin, was the lowest rated on my TBR. And for that one, I chose The Great Christmas Bowl by Susan May Warren. I have just started this one, very early into it, but I will easily finish this before the end of the month. Then my next prompt was over 400 pages, and for that one I chose Trial and Error by Robert Whitlow. I read this one on my Kindle, and I have finished it, and I really wish I had bought a physical copy when I saw it. That's all I'm going to say. Then for prompt number 4, I got a 5+ word title. For that one, I chose The Fifth Avenue Story Society, which was a reread for me, and I have finished that one. Oh, by Rachel Hawk. I should say that. Then for prompt number 5, I got Finish a Series. So for this one, I chose to read Follow Me by Debbie Vigay. This is book number 19 in the Psalm 23 Mysteries, and it is the most recently released one. So that series is still going on, but that's as complete as I can be at this time because the other ones haven't been released. I have read that one. Then for book number 6, the prompt was a 5-star prediction. For that one, I chose to read The Lines Between Us by Amy Lynn Green because this is one of the books that was in my 5-star prediction video that I just shared maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. I'll link that video below. And I have read this one, and I will share my thoughts on all these books in my October wrap-up, which will be coming November 5th. And every other book that I finished in the rest of the month, because in addition to these 6 books, I have read one other, and I'm hoping to get to at least one other before the end of the month, maybe 2 if the rest of the month goes well. It is only the 21st when I am filming this, so I still have 10 days of the month. And as I said, this one will not take me long to finish. So yes, so far October's been great. Now, what's November's plans gonna look like? Let's find out. So the first thing we do is we play a round of Katie's Around the World game. So let's go to that once I get it set up, and we'll find out what my prompt's gonna be. Okay, so I got my little bus, and this is where we ended last time, and we're going this way. So let's roll and see what I get. 3. 1, 2, 3. So another cloud prompt. These are my clouds. A plane on the cover. So I got a plane on the cover. I cannot think of a book immediately, so I'm going to go to my Goodreads and look at my want to read list and look at all the covers and see, because this way it'll include my Kindle books. And see, do I have any with planes on the cover? I was like, I don't think I have any books that have planes on the cover, but I do. And one is a series. So the first book is Sunrise by Susan May Warren. There is a float plane right there. Then I have Sundown by Susan May Warren with a plane right there. I don't know how well you can see that. And then I have Sunburst, which has, I guess, a helicopter. Yes, that's a helicopter. But what is book 1? Because why would I show them to you in order? That wouldn't make sense. This one is book 1. So maybe, but then I also have True Honor by D. Henderson, and I am currently listening to book 2 of this series, and this is book 3, and there's a helicopter there. But is a helicopter considered a plane? And I'm listening to an audiobook, the series, so I tend to only put read books I'm gonna read on my TBR, not listen to. So I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna put this one on. One, it's a helicopter, so it's not really a plane, and I do have one with a plane. I'm hesitant because it's book 1 of a series, and am I going to be able to get the whole series on my TBR, or am I setting myself up to start another series and not finish it? Because this isn't on my priority reads for the month, or for the year. And I only have 2 months left to read those priority ones, but okay, this is what we're doing. So, Sunrise by Susan May Warren. This is book 1 of the Sky King Ranch series, right? That's what it's called? Yeah. I have really enjoyed a lot of Susan May Warren's books. So, when I saw that she had this series coming out, it was add to cart, add to wish list. So, and I now have all 3 books, so I can start the series. So, what is book 1 about? Coming home was never the plan. After a terrible family fight, pilot Dodge Kingston left home to join the Air Force. A decade later, he's headed back to the destiny that awaits him as heir to the Sky King Ranch. But that's not all that's waiting for him at home. Echo Yahtzee is a true Alaskan woman, a homesteader, dog setter, a research guide for the DNR. After her childhood best friend and former flame Dodge fled Denali, she settled into life on the Alaskan ridge. She's made peace with being left behind by her mother and by Dodge, and she's strong enough to live without them. When one of Echo's fellow researchers goes missing, Echo sets out to find her, despite a blizzard, a rogue grizzly haunting the woods, and a biting cold. What she doesn't know is that there is more than just regular dangers of the Alaskan forest stalking her. As Dodge sets out to find Echo, he can't ignore the feelings he still has for her. But will he be able to find her in time? And if he does, is there still room for him in her heart? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of second chance romances unless they're done really well. And I'm usually not a fan of books set in Alaska. But I really like Susan May Warren's writing. And, if we're talking blizzard, at least I'm going to read it in the somewhat winter time. Yeah. Okay, so book number 1 is Sunrise by Susan May Warren. We are ready to spin for prompt number 1. TBR Bingo board. Okay, that is a priority read board. Okay, what book from this wheel are we going to be reading? Or am I going to be reading? A Gilded Lady. A Gilded Lady by Elizabeth Camden. This is book 2 of the Hope and Glory. Yeah. Hope and Glory, which works out perfect because The Spice King, which is book number 1 of this series, is the book that came up when I did my bookshelf scavenger hunt and that I'm hoping to get to yet this month. So, this is perfect. Yeah, I'm happy with this one. This is book 2. I know it follows the sister of the guy in book 1, and that's pretty much all I know because, again, it's book 2. It is a historical, I will tell you that much. Let's spin for the next prompt. So this is prompt number 2. Released a minimum of 10 years ago. Okay, well, I have a lot of older books on my shelf, so again, it has to be released before 2013. So I decided to take a look at the books that were remaining on my bingo board, and I had 2 that released before 2013. So I've decided to go with Broken Things by Andrea Boeshaar. This one was released in 2009? Oh, 2003. So now we're at 20 years ago. I think it's time to read this book. I mean, I haven't had it that long, but it's time to read that book. So this one is a women's fiction, I want to say. With her son getting married and her husband long gone, Allie Lidenberg decides to build a new life. While cleaning out some old junk, she uncovers a faded photograph from another time, when she was young and afraid of marriage, but so in love with handsome Chicago cop Jack Callahan. This could be another second chance romance. Oh boy. Well, we'll see. I have to read it this year. My time is getting close, so it is time to put it on the TBR and get it read. Well, let's spin again for book number 4. A contemporary romance. For contemporary romance, I'm going to read Stay With Me by Becky Wade. This one is on my Kindle, but it is also, well, it is not one of the books on my TBR Bingo board, but this is book 1 of the series, and I have book 2.5 on my TBR Bingo board. So I kind of need to work on the series to get to 2.5. So this is a contemporary romance. It was released in 2020. I have read it once, but it was in 2020, and I want to like kind of re-familiarize myself with the characters so that when I read book 2 and 3, I kind of know the background of the story and the characters a little bit better. So this one has been going around book 2 for a while. I mean, it's Becky Wade, and people have raved about this series. So I'm going to read it and hope that it lives up to kind of the hype that I've heard about it. Let's spin for book number 5. Okay, last letter to first letter. So that means whatever the last letter of the last book I picked has to be the first letter of the book I'm picking. And of course, I would pick a book that ends in an E. Stay With Me. So I have to find a book that starts with E. So I actually had 4 books on my shelves that start with an E. I was shocked at that. One of them is book 1 of a series, and I don't want to start another series when I'm already starting 2. Well, 3 technically with the Hope and Glory series. And then another one is part of my James Herriot collection, but it's book 8 of that collection. I haven't even started that collection. Then there's Emma, a classic, but yeah, I don't really have a reason for not choosing that one, other than we've got a classic compared to this one. So I decided to go with Evidence of Mercy by Jill Elizabeth Nelson. This is a love-inspired suspense book, and it's a nice short read, hopefully. So yeah, this is the one we're going to go with. It says, the proof is in the pictures. The photographs Samantha Reed uncovers in her new store are shocking, horrifying, and dangerous. The new evidence could reopen a decades-old multiple homicide case that someone wants desperately to keep closed. And when the evidence comes out, a reluctant Samantha is drawn straight into the spotlight. All the attention is wrecking her business and drawing the killer's eye straight to her. Yeah, is she going to be okay? So this is the one I'm going to read. Okay, let's spin for our last book, book number 6. Play Katie's game again. What a nice way to end. Okay, so let's go back to the game board and see what my next prompt will be. Okay, so we're back again, and this is where we landed at the beginning of the game of this round. And we're gonna go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I landed on the passport, which is a friend pick. And at the beginning of the year, I promised my BFF that she will pick every book if I get passport. So I don't know what book it's going to be. She'll put a picture here of what book she chooses. Yeah. Keep me in suspense. Now, Christine, remember, November is my birthday month. Let's be someone nice to me. Yeah. Okay, so that is the 6 books I'm going to read. So let's recap. So for prompt number 1, we got one with a plane on the cover. So I'm going to read Sunrise by Susan May Warren. This is book 1 of the Sky King Ranch series. Then for prompt number 2, we got a TBR Bingo board. So I spun the wheel and it chose A Gilded Lady by Elizabeth Camden. This is book number 2 of the Hope and Glory series. Then a book that was released a minimum of 10 years ago, and I chose Broken Things by Andrea Boeshaar. Prompt number 4 was a contemporary romance, and I chose Stay With Me by Becky Wade, which is book number 1 of the Misty River series. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Then for book number 5, or prompt number 5, I got the last letter to first letter, so I needed a book that started with an E, and I chose Evidence of Murder by Jill Elizabeth Nelson. And then for prompt number 6, I landed on Play Katie's Around the World game again. I landed on the passport, which is a BFF pick, and this is the book that she chose for me. So we have quite the mix this month, and a lot of series, because these are series, the other one's a series on my Kindle. Could be an interesting month. And as I said, November is my birthday month, so I'm really hoping to also be able to read some of my childhood books that are on my shelf as part of like a reading vlog, but we'll see. Hopefully, that's the plan right now. But now that I'm like in the middle of series or starting series, it's going to be an interesting month. So come back at the end of the month to see how my reading went. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.